Greetings, family. What's going on? It's your brother Tanicio Natana Nima of Nature's Candy Farms, here with you on another episode of Garden Like a Boss. Of course, if you are checking me out for the first time, especially if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you are watching me on additional platforms such as Instagram or Facebook, then make sure you like these videos. And on today's episode, I'm going to be speaking to you all about the process known as sheet mulching. This is something we typically do at the beginning of any growing season, especially around the spring. And what it involves is taking a raw piece of land like this, and we turn it into one in which the weeds are manageable, and we actually give back to the soil through a process known as solarization. And so I'll be going through all the different steps that are involved with that, as well as ways that you can actually acquire your mulch for free. So make sure you take some good notes, as always, and if you have any questions, you can definitely hit me up at naturescandyfarms@gmail.com. But with that being said, let's get started. You are watching Garden Like a Boss.
Greetings, everyone. This is Jay Olubaiwu, Urban Agriculture Director for the City of Atlanta. When I'm not reaching the mayor's goal of 85% of residents being within half a mile of fresh, affordable food in the City of Atlanta, I tune into my man, Garden Like a Boss.
All right, so to begin this process of sheet mulching a yard, the first thing you're going to do is you need to determine what type of material you're going to put down as a barrier between the yard itself and the actual mulch. Now, there's many different options. In the past, I've used something as simple as cardboard, which is probably the cheapest method. However, cardboard is a material that breaks down very easy. So one of its cons is that you will be required to come back pretty much on an annual basis and remulch the property. But its pro is that because it is an actual biomass material, meaning it's made from trees or even some type of paper material, it can actually be broken down and feed into the soil. Now, for the sake of this particular video and most of the jobs that I do, I actually use a woven landscape fabric because it has the ability to last much longer than a material such as the cardboard. You could pretty much get a roll of this size for anywhere from $40 to $80, depending on the grade that you get, be it a medium duty, a heavy duty, or even a commercial duty landscape fabric. But as you can see, it rolls out very easily. You staple it to the ground, and then if you want to use some type of edging material, such as a landscape edge, you can even tack that along on top of the actual fabric to hold it in place and even give an aesthetic look. But let me show you how you can easily lay down a simple roll of landscape fabric. So as you can see, it rolls out extremely easy. All I have to do now is take some actual landscape fabric staples, poke those into the ground to hold it in place, and then I'll be able to move on to the next step. Now, whenever you are laying the landscape fabric down on a piece of property that has plants in place that you intentionally want to keep, such as this hydrangea, you simply cut an X into the actual landscape fabric right at the position of the plant itself. And then you begin to work the landscape fabric gently over the plant, making sure that you do not break the actual branches of the plant itself. And eventually, the landscape fabric falls right in place. All right, so all of the landscape fabric has been placed down on the area in which I plan to sheet mulch. As you can see here, I've covered the entire landscape with the actual fabric. And next, I'm going to add a nice cosmetic appeal, put a little finishing touch, if you will, on laying down the landscape fabric. And that is, I'm going to put landscape edging. And all that does is simply put a nice border around the edges of the actual landscape fabric. It not only gives it a cosmetic appeal, but also once I put the actual mulch down on top of the landscape fabric, if there's any opportunities for runoff from rain that would actually push the mulch away, the landscape edging will actually contain it and hold it in place. So it serves multiple purposes, not only again for the appeal of the eye, but also to make sure that the work that we put in is not wasted from weathering. All right, so now that I have put down the landscape edging on top of the landscape fabric, it's time for the most crucial part of this entire project, and that is to put down the actual mulch. And so I'm gonna go on ahead and load up one wheelbarrow at a time and put it down so that you can see how this project looks once it has the mulch on top of the landscape fabric. Let's get started. With regard to having some tools on hand to actually handle a job such as sheet mulching, it's best to have a very sturdy wheelbarrow in addition to having a manure fork. Also, if you are interested in acquiring mulch for free, simply contact any of your local electrical companies, because when power lines have been damaged by trees and they have to cut those trees and mulch them, they will deliver that to you for free. Also, tree cutting companies offer a similar service. Again, contact them to get on their waiting list and they will send you mulch as soon as it is available. Alright, so it is the next day and I have actually completed this particular project. I have been able to put down the landscape fabric, the landscape edging, and the mulch. And as you see, I even added a little finishing touch by putting some pavers that can be walked on. So again, if you're interested in having a good way to control weeds, to make your yard or your garden a lot more manageable over the long haul, then this is definitely a good option for you. And of course, if you have any questions about how to actually do any of this work, or if you even need someone to come out and give you a consultation or perform the work itself, feel free to hit me up at naturescandyfarms@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Garden Like a Boss. If you have any questions, the email address is naturescandyfarms@gmail.com. The musical selection that you've been listening to today is by Shafiq Hussein off of the album The Loop, and the name of the song is Between Us Two. I look forward to you joining me next time, and until then, peace. Let's grow together.
Yeah, you know, there's many like facets to this thing that we call love. Some take it for like from here, we like to take it with love.
Like caramels, strawberries too, orange, polka dots and blue. Oh yeah, Bloomingdale's, candlelights too, shades of violets in mid-June. I love the way the sun shines down on your face. It does a funny thing to your eyes, what you say. Let's take a little trip down Candy Lane. The cinnamon tastes like chocolate rain. The way you smell, yeah, I like that too. The moon still shines in afternoons. Very well, rendezvous round two, kiss and tell between us two.
It's just a little